How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. So today we are looking at it's kind of an all-round preset that I've put together for general all-round usage, because that's what we want. So basically what this one does is it creates a acoustic guitar and two snapshots, and those snapshots will give you a kind of a main sort of lead sound, and then there's like a massive delay sound. So what we're looking at on line A, or path A, for the acoustic preset is we start always with the LA Studio comp, which we all know and love. The gain is on 5.9 and the peak reduction is on 5.0. We then go into the acoustic simulator. I've just got it set to standard, but I mean, obviously you can, if you wanted, you could change that. Let's pick that pick up off the floor. That was actually really good, that, and I'll tell you for why, because these picks are kind of the same color as the carpet, and when you drop them, they just like drift into the abyss. So that's our acoustic sound. Kind of nice. Slight different reverb on the end of that. We've got, as you can see, we've got the Searchlight reverb on there, which, it's a great reverb, and I think with that, when it comes out in stock settings, I think the mix is somewhere about 50%. It's too much for what I'm doing for this, but I've got that set to 30%, and the decay's quite low at 3.4. So it's enough to get your strummy kind of stuff on. But obviously you could, if you want to, go back to the different settings, and you get a jumbo on the acoustic. And then we've got the enhanced. And then we've got the piezo. But I kind of like it as a standard. It kind of gives me everything I want from it, just at that. I'm not really a massive acoustic kind of player. And then we got our other three snapshots. I think I did say two, but there's actually three. Well, there you go. Shows how much of attention I'm paying to my own patch. Okay, so the first one is our crunch. And what happens is that everything on path A just disengages. And then we drop downstairs into path 2B, and in path 2B we have the Minotaur, no tube screamer in this one, which will become apparent as to why in a minute. Rev Gen Red and EQ, that's where all the goodness lies, and then we have a simple delay set to quarter notes, chamber reverb, not a plate this time. I'm doing a lot of things that are like kind of different than what I normally do. Tile delay, which is kind of always there, and then just a volume pedal at the end. So if we start on the crunch setting, pretty gainy, but it's good for kind of like a sort of a really cool rhythm patch. Snapshot 2 then engages the Minotaur, which I've kind of fell in love with a little bit again. It was always kind of tube screamer for me all the time, but the Minotaur's getting my attention quite a lot again. And then what this does is, obviously, it engages the gain on the Minotaur. It brings up the drive on the Rev Gen Red quite significantly, to be honest. And then this calligraphic EQ, let me just show you this with it on, and then we'll turn it off. what happens is that we talked before about the tube screamer not being there, and I kind of relied on the tube screamer to give me that mid hump that we all know and love. But I just wanted to use the Minotaur a bit more, so opted to use the calligraphic EQ and kind of, you know, do some magic dialing in there, because that's what I do. So this is with it on, and then we'll turn it off midway. Volume goes, all the frequencies that we want just completely disappear. I mean, that tone in itself is probably good enough for some people, but there's actually plus 5 dB on that, so So then obviously we pop along to the delay again. There's not an obscene amount on there, just enough to kind of give it some space and fill it out. And again, the chamber reverb. There's quite a long delay on the chamber. It just doesn't seem to get in the way. Obviously, what you can do if you wanted to, you can kind of pull the reverb down into, you know, out the way and kind of run it parallel, if that's your thing. I kind of like it in series. I like things to sound, you know, the way that I want them. And that's pretty much that snapshot. And then we drop down into big delay. And big delay obviously kind of speaks for itself, really, because the big delay gives us a shit ton of delay. I mean, it jumps up quite significantly there. And again, like I've talked about before, I don't really use a solo boost as such. What I'm doing is I'm using the mix of the delay to come up, and I bring the feedback up a little bit as well. And what that does is that kind of gives me the solo boost that I want. So the levels of the patches are kind of quite consistently, but it will vary for you. If you feel like you want that boost, then alter the snapshot at the channel of the amp, and that'll be your thing. All right, so let's take a listen to Big Delay. Flick up onto the neck pickup. And that is pretty much it. It's a very, very basic patch. I've called it Not You Fat Jesus, and the reason that I've called it that is because at NAMM last year, when I was hanging out with a few of the guys, we would just shout that randomly at each other because of the film The Hangover, because it's NAMM and everybody had a hangover. So the Not You Fat Jesus is a reference to the film The Hangover. So there you go. So there's our acoustic. Okay. And then we drop down into our crunch patch, which then gives us this. It's nice. I like it. Then our main, obviously the delay lifts slightly, the drive lifts slightly, and the Minotaur comes on. This is why I love Charvel so much. This is the Charvel San Dimas Pro Mod. It's got the Seymour Duncans, the JB and the 59. Then our big delay, which we've just heard, it's one of them things that when you hear it, you will think there's far too much. There's too much delay on there for me. But once you kind of get going and settle into the song, particularly with it being set to quarter notes, there's no biggie. There really isn't. Sounds beautiful. Sounds beautiful. And that's it. That is pretty much the patch. So the link for this is in the description. You feel free to go and download it, adjust everything, change everything for your playback system, for what guitar that you're using, what earphones you're using. I am actually going to do a little bit of a studio walk round with regards to what gear I'm using, because I do get asked that question quite a lot. And it's something that I probably need to address, to be fair. So I will do that, especially for you, because I'm just an all-round nice guy. It's what I do. All right, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.